talking about that man, we are talking about one of the greats of the Premier League era. And I think you look at this graphic now, the goals, OK, he's not right at the top of the goals, but that is players with 150 goals, minutes per goal. I mean, Thierry Henry, I think, is the greatest player to play in the Premier League. But you actually look at the difference there from what Aguero has to Thierry Henry. It's a big jump, 108 minutes per goal to 122. I mean, that shows how good this fella is. And we talk about him never really being in Team of the Year, being Player of the Year, spoken as one of the greatest of all time. But if you actually go down these strikers, I mean, you could maybe make a case for, I'd certainly say Henry was a better player than Aguero, because maybe there was a bit more to his game in terms of assists also. Maybe Shearer because he has got the 260 goals. But Darren, is there anyone else in that list who you think maybe does outdo him and that he should get more credit for what he's done in this country?
Not just your mates.
I think it's hard to argue behind his stats. They're frightening. He's massively underappreciated. And it's not only that, it's when you speak to defenders around the league or people you've played with who played against him, they highlight how difficult he is to play against, the low centre of gravity, how you can't get near him. He's strong, you can't bundle him over. Similar things that get said about Messi. I'm not trying to say he's like Messi, but it's that sort of like stature, that power that big defenders and defenders hate playing against. They would rather have played against Shearer. I know it's a different type of game, but everyone speaks about how hard it is to play against Aguero and how he only needs to shift it a yard and bang, and he's in the box, and he's just a nightmare to play against.
Most goals and assists since the start of last season. Now, you look at the companies in there. There's only Salah, who maybe had a freak season in some ways, going back to last season. I don't think he'll score that many goals again, really. So you look at that. So he's above Kane, Aguero, who, OK, their strikers maybe get less assists than Raheem Sterling. Well, we can see that in the stats, certainly with Harry Kane. But you think of Hazard, who plays a similar position. Salah plays a similar position. Of course, he's behind him. Sané, how much further he's in front of him. Now, Raheem Sterling has just signed, well, reading reports that he's on the verge of signing a really big contract. And maybe there's eyebrows raised when you see the figures involved. But when you go like that...
300,000 a week, I think, was talked about.
Yeah, of course. Nothing wrong with that. I wish I was playing now.
You wouldn't have been on that, Jamie.
Yeah. Sound like Tommy Smith. But he is in company of players who are earning those figures, who he's saying are the best players in the league. Now, you go back to England in the summer, and this lad gets far too much criticism. You can look at reasons why, forget that. But when you look at that and what this lad's achieving, the big move he made to Man City, the pressure of that, the price tag, Pep Guardiola coming in, who probably every player in the world wants to play for, can go and get players from Spain, all over the world. A young English lad is thriving in a team with maybe the best manager in the world, and he's up there with the best players in the league, and he deserves everything he gets. And on the back of the Spanish game in the England shirt, hopefully we'll see that a little bit more, because he does need to up his stats in terms of goals and assists for the national team. But what he's doing for Man City now, we always speak about Aguero, as we just have, Silva, De Bruyne. He is now in that company.
There was some talk that this might be his last Manchester City contract. He might be leaving to sunnier climes. Should we be excited, whoever we support, whoever we used to play for, that he is going to be still playing in the Premier League for years to come, it seems?
Yeah, without a doubt, and touching on what Carragher said, he's had a lot of undeserved stick, and, you know, the move from Liverpool to City, and he was getting himself in goal-scoring positions earlier in his career, but he wasn't maybe technically finishing them. He was missing a lot of chances. So I think it's something that he's worked on, and I think that you can see that not only is he getting himself in more goal-scoring positions for easier finishes, but also when he does have to maybe strike the ball, things he was maybe accused of lacking technique, maybe putting it over the bar, he's definitely improved that side of his game. And I can see these stats continuing. You know, he's only 4 less goals than Aguero, who we're talking about.
I thought you were going to say he's only 24. You thought to say he's not his goals.
No, he's 4 less goals than arguably we're talking about the greatest goal scorer in Premier League history in terms of goals to ratio. He's only 4 goals behind them, and that's an out-and-out striker and one of the greatest in the Premier League history. That just shows you what impact he's having on this team.